can have your attention, please. The publisher of the Telegraph, Colonel William McCabe.
Thank you, Boulder. As all of you know, Alfred J. Lingle, Jake, was shot to death this afternoon in the Illinois Central subway. He was murdered in cold blood. The Telegraph is offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and the conviction of the slayers. The following editorial, entitled The Mission, will appear in tomorrow morning's editions. It was an act of cowardly vengeance, the murder of Mr. Lingle, and an unmistakable attempt to intimidate. As a police reporter, Mr. Lingle had no peers. No man was better informed than Mr. Lingle, and that is why he died. The work of Mr. Lingle terrified the killers because it cast light on their nefarious doings. And nothing frightens them more than the bright beacon that is the truth. And so, the Telegraph sees clearly its mission. This is war.
Listen to this garbage, Frank. Huh? War. I think this McCabe guy takes his colonel thing too seriously.
He's a big man in Chicago, Colonel McCabe. Between his newspaper and his radio station, hell, his family made damn near every tractor sold in this country. It can make life very difficult for us.
Well, what's he gonna do, Frank, huh? Is he gonna come down here to the Lexington, start firing on us?
Yeah, that's not funny.
Excuse me my sense of humor, Frank, but we didn't do anything to these people, all right? I mean, what's the matter with them? I wouldn't kill somebody in broad daylight. Don't they know that?
Obviously not.
Well, maybe we gotta teach them, huh?
This is war. Blood will be shed. Casualties will be incurred. This worries me.
It's hyperbole, Catherine. You know what the newspapers are like.
If gangsters are shooting reporters, the federal agents might be next.
You don't have to worry about that. It's not the way you think. When they shot Lingle, they didn't kill a reporter. They killed one of their own.
What are you talking about?
He was a gangster with a notepad, Catherine. Just as much as Al Capone or Frank Nitti or any one of them. He was a gangster. It's this town can corrupt anyone.
$352 arrests since the killing. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Chief Russell. I really am. Because if something isn't done in 72 hours, the Chicago Telegraph is going to hold you personally responsible. Is that understood?
I'm committing all our resources.
Good. You do that.
You're a deputy chief, and this is your investigation stage. It's not homicides. It's not anyone's. It's yours, John. Now make something happen, damn it.
It's already happening, Bill. We'll have more than 600 in custody by midnight. I swear one of them will give us the shooter.
I hope you're right, because if you're not, the Telegraph is going to run us both out of town. Now get going, John. You got work to do.
Cusimano, Johnny Deeks and the boys.
So what they do, shut the place down?
Yeah, padlocked.
So at this rate, they're gonna have the city closed up and buttoned down in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, all this because of Jake Lingle. You were right, Frank. Sneaky son of a bitch was more trouble dead than he was alive.
You gotta promise me, Mike. You gotta promise. No one finds out about this. No one. Anyone finds out about this, I'm a dead man. You're not a cop anymore, Malone. You're a Fed. Around here, that makes you the enemy.
Who's gonna tell, eh, Langford? I'm not gonna tell. You're not gonna tell. And sure as hell, old Lingle here isn't gonna tell anyone. So don't worry. No one is gonna find out. No one. Now, go get me that envelope, eh?
Here. .22 with a silencer.
Yeah. Custom-made silencer, eh? That is beautifully made. Yeah, serial numbers being filed off. Now, who would have thought to have done a thing like that, eh? Isn't it a mundane world we live in?
Just fired one shot. The rest of the bullets were in the magazine. Kind of funny, he was wearing that inside out.
Well, the answer to that's quite simple, Langford. You see, there aren't that many $65 a week newspaper stiffs in this town who can afford a $2,500 diamond-studded belt buckle. In fact, the only guys that I've seen in this town who would wear this garish thing had them given to them as gifts by their very good friend Al Capone. This rotten little bastard got everything he deserved.
What Mr. Malone's got is one hell of a good start. We got to work better and faster than we ever have. This is an opportunity for us, the opportunity we've needed.
Why is Lingle so important?
Because his murder gives us a chance to prove to the city just how corrupt it's become. The gangs, the police, the newspapers, they're all in business together. And if we're smarter than the gangs, faster than the police, better than the newspapers, we'll be able to prove that.
And to do that, we have to rely on old-fashioned, fundamental police work. Treat this as you would any homicide investigation. Follow the gun, the money, the last few days of Lingle's life.
I've already taken the liberty of following the money. He had a lot of it. Been in the bank. Next up is his stockbroker.
Well, nice to know that you college boys are good for something. Stay on it, Robbins. The rest of us will work on the fundamentals with Mr. Malone.
You know what gets me, Bugs?
What's that, Jack?
That somebody got to that son of a bitch Lingle before I did. That double-crossing bastard. I get him. I don't just shoot him once in the back of the head. I make him suffer. S.O.B. Lingle shakes down everybody and don't deliver nothing.
That's the price of doing business, Jack. He's dead. There's nothing we can do about it now.
You're wrong, Moran. There's something you can do about it.
And what might that be, Mr. Zuda?
You can make it up to me. I lose 50 large on the Sheridan Wave deal after you say we got it sewed up. Paying Lingle $1,500 to clear things up with that police chief Russell.
Russell didn't shut us down. It was Ness and his Untouchables.
Heat's heat. And I don't care who it was. You made a deal with Lingle to keep the heat off, and you didn't deliver. You owe me, Bugs.
Fine, Jack. Have it your way. I never want my partners to go away unhappy. All I need from you is a little time. Time to get things organized.
Good. A week.
You'll have to leave. You don't belong here. You don't belong anywhere in my city.
Jake Lingle was a friend of mine. My wife and I come to pay our respects just like everybody else.
You can show your respect by leaving.
You're making a big mistake, Colonel. A very big mistake. Frank, huh? The guy humiliated me in front of my wife. No one does that. No one.
Why don't you get out of town, Al? Take me. Go to Florida. Wait till the heat's turned down.
So do you are, Frank.
When everybody takes a vacation. Now's a good time to lie low.
Al Capone doesn't run away. I'm innocent. Hey, I don't care what that McCabe and the rest of those two big pencil pushers got to say about it, all right? They better not try to hang this one on me. Because if they try, then maybe I'll give them something to really write about. What kind of story do you think it will be if this McCabe guy got popped, huh?
Now,
relax. I ain't gonna do nothing. Yet.
Lego was amazing. He'd roll in the dirt with the gang elements in the afternoon and wear a tuxedo to the board of trade dinner that night. Which brings us to the money. How'd you make out, Robbins?
You're not gonna believe this.
Lingle, I'll believe anything.
Okay, he traded through his good and great friend Arthur Cutton.
The Lord of LaSalle Street.
Before the crash last year, he had as much as $100,000 in his accounts. His profits amounted to $89,000.
Was he busted out when he died?
No. He was still trading, but that's not the best part. His partner in these accounts was Bill Russell, the chief of police.
Bingo.
I mean, did I what? Gentlemen, that's an unfair question.
But Al, it's not a nice thing when reporters get gunned down.
Yeah, and it's not a nice thing when a man gets falsely accused. Think about it. I like you guys. I love Jake Lingle. He was a friend of mine. Why would I do it? What reason would I have? I mean, hell, he was gonna introduce me to Louise Brooks this week. Now, is that the kind of relationship you have with a guy that you're gonna kill? A lot of people been pointing the fingers at me and they don't know what they're talking about. Now, why don't you guys print that?
Hey, Al, what about the... Are you with me? This financial stuff can get pretty confusing.
What it can get, Ness, is pretty boring. It's my job to make it interesting.
And you do. The bottom line, Dory, is this. Lingle didn't get killed because he was a good guy, like the papers say. He got killed because he was a bad guy who wasn't careful.
I know. I saw him at the Sheridan Wave Club. He was one of the customers.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because there's something that I learned when I first started out in this business.
What's that?
Information's currency. It never pays to go first. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a very good story to write about a crooked police chief, a corrupt reporter, and a city that's turning into a banana republic. Maybe when I'm done, they'll send the Marines to Chicago, not Nicaragua.
They have, Dory.
All right, thanks for stopping by today, fellas. And remember one thing. I want to catch the guy that killed Jake Lingle just as bad as you do.
Right,
Hey, Frank. When we were kids, we used to play cops and robbers. You ever want to be the cop?
Well, let me see if I can make this a little clearer for you, Mr. Von Francis. My employer, one Uncle Sam, knows that you supplied the wherewithal for the St. Valentine's Day hit. Last I heard, the statute of limitations hadn't run out on that one. Now, what's that do for your memory?
That St. Valentine's Day massacre was a terrible mess, if I remember correctly from what I read in the papers.
Do you hear this? Huh? You hear it? That's the sound of your life ticking away as you rot in Leavenworth. Now, who did you sell that silencer to? What a tragic irony, eh, Mr. Ness? Gunsmith shoots himself accidentally while repairing customer's gun.
Pity. A man dying on the job like that.
Check suit up.
What?
Bugs Moran's friend.
Mushki.
Jesus, scared me, Frank.
Come on, Mushki. Let's take a little walk.
Is this a joke, Frank? Your hands in your pocket, you want me to take a walk?
Reading too many dime novels.
I don't read nothing, Mushki. Walk. Now, I hear that one of your North Side guys was sore at Lingle. Who was it?
What, are you a cop? What the hell difference does it make?
Who was sore at Lingle, Mushki?
I don't know, Frank. Who was it?
I wasn't. Now, you want to tell me who was?
Look, you put me in a very awkward situation here, Frank. You come to my house in the middle of the day. What if somebody saw us?
I'd probably be dead. But nobody did. So now you're going to answer my question, you bastard. Well, you're going to be dead.
What'd you want to know, Frank? What was it?
Who was sore at Jake Lingle?
Bugs Moran was, and Zuda, Jack Zuda, said he wanted to kill the double-crossing SOB.
Good. Now you can count to 100, can't you? I want you to count to 200. Because when you're done, I'll be gone. And nobody will know that this happened.
1, 2, 3.
Not so fast.
4, 5, 6, 7. Now, Mr. Lord, you're one of the most powerful public relation men in this whole town, all right? Now, you speak, and the newspaper boys, they listen.
It's very kind of you.
Al Capone takes care of the people of this town, all right? I'm one of the best things that ever happened here. I need you to tell them about that, all right? I want you to tell them about the soup kitchens that I set up, how I feed the hungry. Let's face it, Mr. Lord. Hell, I beat the government in setting up soup kitchens. I want you to tell them about the milk that I give school children every day. I want you to tell them about the countless donations that I make to all the poor and needy organizations all over town. This is what I need you to tell them about, what I need you to remind them of, because my popularity's been slipping.
Mr. Capone, there's something I need to know before I can proceed.
Anything you want, you name it.
This story, is it true? Did you kill Jake Lingle? Because if you did, I can take
What's the matter with you? Aren't you listening to me? What do you think I called you here for? To tell lies for me?
Well,
I called you here to tell the people the truth. I did not kill Jake Lingle. And you get the newspaper boys to write that, and I'll think of you as something a little bit more than the worthless pansy you appeared to be, all right? Meeting over. Get out. $664 arrests, and you've got nothing?
Nothing.
What about the gun? They following the gun?
Calvin Goddard's working on it in his lab up at Northwestern. Another 24 hours, he'll have the serial numbers restored.
What can you tell me about this, Chief?
Even the mob boys don't like Zuta.
He's big and he's ugly.
Yeah, but he has one thing that even Bugs Moran admires.
Money.
Excellent, Pagano. In his heart and his soul, Jack Zuta is a gutter pimp with a bad temper. Running whores is his métier. He's very good at it. Keeps his overhead down and the cash flowing in. And that's why the North Side racket boys put up with him. Because he makes a very good investor for them.
They sell stock?
Well, in a way. Let's say Bugs Moran wants to open a new gambling den. Now, he's got $100,000 of his own money in it, but he needs an extra $50,000 to get the joint exactly the way he wants to.
Hey.
He gets in touch with Zuta, tells him that he needs $50,000. Zuta puts up the money in return for a piece of the action.
What happens if, say, the place gets shut down on opening night?
Well, Jack gets angry, and Jack wants to get even. But he can't get even with Bugs Moran because that's too dangerous. So he takes it out on Jake Lingle. Lingle, after all, has promised something that he can't deliver. Protection from us. That, gentlemen, is why we are sitting here this evening.
As a result of Dory Green's revelations in the Daily News, Chief Russell will be resigning tomorrow. And Deputy Chief Steege will be taking an extended leave of absence. And frankly, Mr. Ness, my confidence in the entire Chicago Police Department has been shaken.
Well, that's understandable, Colonel McCabe. But I have nothing to do with the Chicago Police Department.
I know that, Mr. Ness. I've done my research. In light of these developments, I want to finance an independent investigation of the Lingle murder, and I want you to run it, Ness. I know who you are, what you are, and where you're going. You're the best man for the job.
I appreciate your
Anything
confidence.
you or your men need, we'll provide for you. Any expenses you might incur, we will pay.
That's very kind of you, sir. It's not necessary. The Treasury Department takes care of all our needs. My men and I were hired to do a job. We intend to do it. We're gonna get Al Capone. And if we can do that by linking him to the murder of Jake Lingle, that's what we're gonna do.
I never for a moment thought otherwise, Mr. Ness. So let me approach this differently, if I may.
Go ahead.
You're going places, Mr. Ness. Places my newspaper and I may want to go with you. Washington, the Senate. You're a comer, Mr. Ness. Now, this Lingle case is very important to me and the people I work with. It'd do wonders for morale if you could give us the break on any relevant information you might turn up.
In other words, you want preferential treatment.
In other words.
Here he comes.
Well, Jack, all your nice ladies are gonna have to do without your company tonight. Cuff him tight.
Is not asking you to do anything illegal. All he wants is your help. And in return, he's offering to help you.
How do I turn my back on the people who've helped me before?
Elliot, as long as I've known you, you've had one dream. Politics. The day I met you, you talked about becoming a senator. And tonight you met a man who could help you realize this dream, who could get you off the streets and out of this insane war that you're determined to fight. And yet you turn your back on him because you feel some sense of misguided loyalty towards this Dory, whatever her name is.
Her name is Dory Green. And yes, I do owe her.
Oh, I'm sure you do. But you owe yourself too, and you owe this family.
What are you saying, Catherine?
I am saying that next time McCabe makes you an offer, why don't you think about us before you think about her?
I know where this is going, Malone.
Oh, yeah? And where's that, Jack?
Well, we're just about to the part where you nod to these two mugs here. They pin my arms, and then you try to beat it out of me.
Would I do a thing like that, lads? See?
Well, you must be getting a little soft.
I learned new techniques when I became a treasury man. I pick them up. You bought the silencer. Now, if you didn't use it, who did?
I bought a dozen. I shipped them to New York. Now, you want to book me for that, go ahead. But I didn't use them. I don't like them. You shoot somebody, it's supposed to sound like something.
I almost believe you're telling me the truth.
I told you I didn't have nothing to do with Lingle. I'd like to have killed a lying bastard myself, but somebody beat me to it. Maybe his buddy Capone.
Hey, how you doing, Frank? Come on in, sit down. Why so glum?
Nessa's boys got to Jack Zuda before I could.
That's good. Maybe that'll be the end of the whole thing. Maybe they'll torture Zuda into telling how he iced Lingo. I'd like to be a fly on the wall to see that, huh?
All right, Jack, get out of here.
No.
What do you mean, no? You're worthless. I got no reason to hold you.
I ain't leaving unless you give me a ride.
I'm not running a taxi service yet, Jack.
I got it that the mob is gunning for me. You took me from a safe spot. Now take me back there.
All right, Jack. Pagano, Steelman, take him home.
Right.
Come on. Hey.
Hands off the coat.
Catherine, I want you to know something. I always think of my family first. Before anyone or anything. I think of you, Mrs. Ness. Just want you to know that. I think you're mistaken about Dory Green. To me, she's a reporter. To her, I'm a story. I use her, she uses me. That's what using's for. And you're still wrong about McCabe.
I know. I guess you wouldn't be Elliot Ness if you sold your integrity to him. That's why I love you. Your stubborn, implacable integrity. Stop worrying and go to sleep.
Relax, Jack. We're professionals. We're trained for this kind of thing.
You guys are so professional. Why aren't you working for real money on my side of the street?
Because our parents brought us up right, Zuda.
What's that supposed to mean?
Gee, I don't know. Why don't you think about it, tough guy?
Hey, we're being followed. Come on, kid, step on it.
You okay? Yeah. Can't believe it. Zuda took off.
yours is shattered. We are the last line of defense against these thugs and mobsters. And what happens? An innocent man gets shot, a father of four, for God's sake. We look like incompetent buffoons.
Don't take it out on the lad's nest. As I explained, I shouldn't have let Zuda go. Fault's mine.
Wrong, Malone. It's Robin's fault. It's Pagano's fault. It's Steelman's fault. It's Ness's fault. And it's Malone's fault. We're in this together. You understand? When it goes good, when it goes sour. We're in this fight together. It's the only way we're gonna win this thing.
Hey, they're blaming everything else on us. This will probably come down on our heads, too. Yeah? Why don't you pick up Zuda like you're supposed to? Hey, where you think you're going, Frank?
There's nothing else to say, Al.
Oh, yeah, there is. Now, you told me to lay low, so I did. Huh? I called in the newspaper boys. They don't believe a word that I said. I talked to this PR guy, Desmond Lord. He insults me. I go to pay my respects. This McCabe, he treats me like a nickel shoeshine boy. Enough's enough, Frank. I'm putting an end to this.
Al.
I need to know two things from you. Who we got on the hook to his big time. And when Lingo first got popped, what did they say the shooter looked like? Now, you put those two things together and this thing is over.
Don't lie to me, Ness. I know about your meeting with the Colonel.
What are you trying to say, Dory?
You used me. You don't need me anymore. Dory Green can't help you get elected senator, but the Colonel can. So see you later, Dory. It's been nice using you.
Dory, that is not the way it is.
All right, then tell me what happened with Zuda.
I did. We got nothing out of it.
How am I supposed to write that? That's not a story.
It may not be a story, but it happens to be the truth. Someone in Chicago ought to try writing that for a change. Someone like you.
You owe me. That's time to pay up, Bugs. George. Everybody's trying to kill me, but you. You gotta protect me. I gotta disappear for a while.
Got a hideaway northwest side. Go there. No one knows about it.
Hey, you're not as bad as they say, Bugs. You're not half crazy or nothing. If I survive this, maybe I'll forget the Sheridan Wave deal, the 50 grand. Maybe.
This ain't fair, Nitty.
Oh, it is. It's real fair, brothers. There's too much heat on us right now. You take it off us, we'll arrange for you to stay alive.
In the joint, if you call that living.
Look, Leo. You're into Al Capone for 25 grand and you ain't got it.
And you ain't never gonna have it. What you do have is blonde hair and a bad attitude, and that makes you the guy that killed Jack Lingle and tried to kill Jack Zuda. You understand that?
You're arriving on a 3 o'clock train from St. Louis. Oh, and Leo, don't get any ideas. This world ain't big enough to get lost in.
Thank you, Eric.
How you doing, Colonel?
What are you doing here?
I need to talk to you. You wouldn't return. My man over here, he's very persuasive. So he persuaded your man that you and me need to get together and have a meeting back here. So here we are.
This is outrageous, Capone.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Nice automobile you got here, Colonel. Hard times like these, guys like you and me are lucky. We get to travel around in luxury like this. While the average working stiff has to struggle just to get by. Doesn't seem fair now, does it?
You wanted to talk to me about the plight of the working man?
Yeah, I do. Specifically your working men. The drivers that you fire. Those men have families.
They should have thought about that before, Capone.
You're being unreasonable, Colonel. I want you to hire them back.
Are you threatening me?
Hey, Colonel. Let's just say that I'm advising you. Man to man. One capitalist to another.
And if I do?
And then I'm gonna show you what a reasonable guy Al Capone is. I'm gonna give you something that you want. There's a fella arriving on the 3 o'clock train from St. Louis. His name is Leo Brothers. He killed Jake Lingle.
My squad gets a lot of hot tips, Colonel. Helps if we know the source.
Well, I'm afraid that information is privileged, Mr. Ness.
I've got a responsibility to my men, Colonel. I gotta make sure they aren't walking into an ambush.
Well, if you'd like, Ness, I can give this information to the Chicago Police Department. They can go ahead and make the arrest.
Fine. You do that. I'm not your errand boy, Colonel. My squad isn't here to do your newspaper's bidding. So you got somebody else to call? Fine. Do it.
Hey, brother, why'd you cop a plea?
They sentenced me to 14 years. With time off with good behavior means 7. 7 years! You hear that? 7 years. I can do that standing on my head.
Well, it's a sham. Leo Brothers says, I'm guilty, the judge drops the gavel, that's it. Case closed.
Brothers was laughing when they took him away.
So justice was done.
That wasn't justice, Mike.
Oh, Leo Brothers is a little swine. He deserves to rot in hell for all eternity. It's a good thing he's going away.
Yeah, Brothers has done plenty, but he didn't kill Jake Lingle. You know it. I know it. The damn judge probably knows it.
Welcome to police work.
Yeah, what?
Hey, you been played, Ness?
Who is this?
It's your pal Jack Zuda.
What do you want?
You've been played. All you been played.
Who? What are you talking about?
You been played. You, Malone,
Capone, Colonel McCabe, all you been played in this Lingle thing.
I know who it is conducting the orchestra.
So I'm all ears. Who's done it?
Does the name Bugs mean anything to you?
If you want the details, you're gonna have to come and get me.
I'm in a jam. Maybe I could use your help disappearing. Know what I mean?
So where are you?
The northwest corner of Montrose and Lockwood. First floor.
Okay.
We'll come pick you up. But this better be on the level, Zuda, because we don't play. Come on, Mike. Zuda's got something to tell us.
You've been listening to the musical strains of Ted Minton and the JRC Orchestra. We'll return to more of the evening serenade hour. But first, the makers of Darren's Headache Remedies want to remind you all that...
I got you $50,000.
Nice job. Clean. 2 bullets right through the temple.
Bugs Moran's a very efficient assassin.
Well, it's nice when a man enjoys his work.
What Zuda said, it all fits. Lingle double-crosses Moran on the Sheridan Wave opening, but Moran's sharp. He knows that Lingle's connected to Capone. Figures if he hits Lingle, the heat will come down on Capone. That's exactly what happens. The newspapers, the police, us, we all come down on Capone. Somewhere out there, Moran is having a good laugh.
And Zuda?
Moran figured Zuda was the only one who knew the truth. Figured he better get him out of the way.
Well, he wasn't the only one who knew, was he?
No. Because we know. We may not be able to prove it. We just lost our only witness. But we know. And knowledge is power. Moran set up this whole murder to frame Capone. We're gonna use that knowledge to bring down both of them.
And everyone uses everyone else. In this best of all possible worlds.
All right, now you make sure his family's well taken care of, Jackie. I'm holding you personally responsible. And you tell our friends over in Joliet that they're to treat Leo brothers just the same way they would Al Capone. You tell them Al Capone said so. All right. Talk to you later. I feel good, Frank. I feel real good. I feel like I got 1,000 pounds of weight lifted off my shoulders. That hypocrite McCabe, he's got Lingo's killer. City's back to normal. And we get a little bonus. Somebody did that bum Zuda for us. It's a pretty good idea I had. Find somebody that fits the description and hand them over to them.
That was a pretty good idea, Al. There's one thing I ain't figured out yet.
What's that, Frank?
Who did kill Jake Lingle?
Leo Brothers, Frank. It was Leo Brothers.
What?
I mean, that's what the history books are gonna say. And who am I to argue with the history books, huh?